The theory I'm about to give today is gonna sound insane. You might even want to come at me with pitchforks, but just sit down and give me your time. Just pay attention, because Gaster is a deadbeat, and today I'm gonna prove that to you with this one simple theory. But first, let's go over a brief history on Gaster. As we all know, Gaster is a green pirate scientist who fell into his own creation, which gathered him across time and space. Look, green, pirate, and probably a scientist. He also has followers known as the Gaster followers, but I'll only be talking about one. Now, Gaster's a deadbeat. Gaster's biggest secret isn't his identity or what he looks like. It's actually the fact he has a child. And this child, believe it or not, is none other than Susie. Now, you're probably asking, why the hell do I think that Susie is Gaster's daughter? Well, it's pretty simple when you think about it. Because the meme where Susie's last name is Gaster explains everything by biplane. Susie Gaster. Susie Gaster is a popular meme, but what if I told you that this isn't just a meme? This meme, this image was made by Toby Fox himself, so that nobody would ever believe that Susie's last name is actually Gaster. Like this, made by Toby Fox. Now, the Gaster follower I wanted to talk about is Clam Girl. Now, as many of you may know, Clam Girl is a goner, but she also talks about Susie. Now, why would a Gaster follower even remotely care about Susie? Well, it's simply because Susie is Gaster's daughter. And another reason for that is because why would one of the goners care about Susie? Well, they're Gaster followers. So obviously, they would care about Susie. How Gaster is a deadbeat. Bunker code. Gaster, at every opportunity in the game, and I mean every opportunity, tries to make it so Susie cannot get in that bunker. Because, as we all know, Chris Dreamer and Carol Holiday both have a part to play in making sure Susie doesn't get in there. In Chapter 4, Carol comes home early because Chris called her. And she came home early just to make sure Susie isn't able to get the code from the guitar. And then in Chapter 5, Chris grabs the code and they attempt to rip it apart before Susie comes back in the room. Obviously, as an attempt to make sure Susie stays far away from Gaster. Time and space. I believe that Gaster purposefully fell into his own creation so he could avoid his daughter in the Undertale universe. But I don't think he realized that he would end up in the multiple universes. And now, because of that, Gaster could very well be the Forgotten Man or in the bunker. Either one works for this theory. And if Gaster is the Forgotten Man, then he would still be scattered across time and space. After all, who would remember someone who doesn't fully exist? Forgotten Man. Gaster being the Forgotten Man can also be solved in this theory. When you manage to get into the specific rooms where the Forgotten Man resides, your whole party disappears and it's only Chris. And why would the Forgotten Man not want Susie and Ralsei to come in? That's because the Forgotten Man doesn't want to deal with finally acknowledging his daughter, Susie. It's not because the Forgotten Man is trying to help Chris with trauma. It's simply because they don't want to confront Susie. Bye bye, bird. Bye bye. Low tier god. Now, you're probably wondering what low tier god has to do with any of this theory. Like, he has nothing to do with deltarune. In fact, he's gonna be a failure in 4 days, in his own words. But let's think for a second. Who else has a daughter that has been neglected? Low tier god does. Low tier god and Gaster happen to be the same person. They both have daughters that they are currently neglecting. Gaster got scattered across time and space, which means that low tier god could very well be a piece of Gaster that came into our universe. Look, you notice that crack on his left eye? Look at the lightning. It matches perfectly. That crack right there, look at the lightning. It also matches perfectly. And now, low tier god gave Toby Fox that fever dream. Why? Well, it's simple. It's so that we can save him from being scattered across time and space. Because I believe that the ultimate goal of deltarune isn't to stop the Ronin or to give Chris their body back. Sorry, I meant there. It's actually so that we can fix Gaster and he can go back to only having to avoid one daughter instead of an infinite amount of Susies. The eggs and the shadow crystals that we keep collecting are the final piece of the puzzle to fixing Gaster. And now, why would Gaster kidnap Des? Well, it's simple. I keep saying it's simple a lot, but he's only half of a deadbeat. I believe he just doesn't want to deal with Susie. But while he avoids his while he avoids his biological daughter, I think the reason that he kidnapped Des was because she had almost no one to take care of her when her dad went in the hospital. Gaster is just trying to give Des a good life because Carol happens to be strict and is most likely homophobic, as we all know. Because Gaster is teaching Des how to be strong by making her the Roaring Knight, as we all know. Des is the knight, not Rudy, not Carol, not Papyrus, not Alfie's, not Friend, not the Vessel, not Chris in the Well. It is Des. And he is also making sure she has company. And that's why Gaster has all those little cats named Friend. Another reason Gaster kidnapped Des. Des and Azrael most likely had fun under the covers. As we all know, Pizza Pants implies it a lot in Chapter 5. So what if one time Azrael got Des pregnant? Now, you're probably wanting to click off this video, but please, just stay for a few more slides. I promise you, everything's coming together. Gaster kidnapped Des to try and help her take care of the child when it was born, but Des got an abortion. Because Azrael got Des pregnant. And this is the final missing piece. Now you might be wondering, what could be left of this theory? Because it's such an insane theory. But it's 100% true. I totally haven't been lying about this whole death section. Well, what if I told you I know who Rouse is? Rouse is the aborted fetus of Des. Or is Des' aborted fetus? I worded that wrong. But I lied about what Rouse is. Rouse is friend. You see those ears? They match up with the horns perfectly. And what does Rouse try to do in the first chapter? Be our friend. Rouse is friend. And to make this video go a little longer, because I love wasting time, let's go through a rapid round of theories. And, wow, the bird, ruthless, stealing all my information. But anyways, Sham is Eram. Look at that smile. Orange? Why is there only an orange smile there? Lighting up through his mouth. Why isn't there orange light in his eye? Well, look. Who else has an orange mouth? Eram. Eram and Sham are the exact same person. And now Tenna. Tenna is Spamton. And Spamton is Tenna. And the three mics? Oh. Obviously, they're not Mike. Look. These NPCs look exactly like this. Look. Tall, tall. Short, short. Pointy ears, pointy ears. It all makes sense. They're not Mike. They're dressed up as what Mike could possibly be. And now, the true identity of the Roaring Knight. As many of you know and call, the Roaring Knight is the cutscene merchant. We all call them that. And who else is a cutscene merchant? Kara. So Kara is the Roaring Knight. I figured it out. Toby Fox is gonna have to rewrite the whole game after this theory. Well, thank you for letting me waste your time, and thank you for listening to my TED Talk.